Hey everybody, it's Mark Ruggiero here, Clark Commando 1983, and I was trying to get me a new tripod that I could use so you could see me when I'm talking, but I couldn't get this one to work either. So my iPhone won't let me flip back and forth, and I have no idea how to edit my videos. So that being said, this will be video number one. I'm just going to do a little intro. Next up will be a deep dive that I'm planning on doing, learn to play after action report of Avalon Hills Anzio. I'm going to do the 4th edition. I have a couple copies of the 7th edition, but just a little too much for me to do right now with the cancer and chemo and blah, blah, blah. So I know I can do this. The majority of people, they have the 4th edition. I also have a copy of this with the Mussolini cover, and maybe I'll dig that out later. But right now, this is I believe, the little bit older 3rd edition. And I've had that, and I've got the 4th edition cover here is on the right, and that one is artwork by the wonderful Roger McGowan, who did a lot of iconic artwork for us, didn't he? Now, the 4th edition came out in, I believe, 1979, and last time I played this, I want to say, I'm going to guess, was with my buddy Scott Bell back in high school in I don't know, probably was 80, it's between 80 and 83 when I graduated. And I think we played it one time. Don't remember how far we got, but it's always held an iconic spot in my heart. And what I'm going to do, I've read the rules twice now, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of game in here, a lot of game. Surprised it actually still doesn't get played more often. The step reduction system's a little bit archaic, because you have one unit represents each step, and with multiple steps, well, you have multiple units. So I've been reading up on it. Somebody warned me about, I want to say it was a 1-to-1, and I believe it was a 1-to-1, not to roll a 6. And I guess somewhere along the line, the step reduction table, which is the combat table, has changed, but nobody's been able to tell me if that's true or not. Maybe we could look inside here. Why not? Let's look together and see if it's in here. See if it's easily accessible. Because this is an older edition. Let's see if it's the same. And I'll show you the table here in just a minute. Let's see. No, it looks identical to the one in the 74 edition. So maybe there wasn't a change. Maybe it was just a warning of, you don't want to roll this, because if the defender's in the mountain, you're going to lose 6 steps. Which actually, if you look, is on the 2-to-1. So, but you want to roll low in the game. The Allies have a significant advantage in steps, so that's for sure. So that will be interesting. It is a game of attrition, so some people, I think maybe get a little bored with that, but it's historical. It's the Italian campaign. So let me just show you a couple of things. So I'm going to be playing the advanced game. I've shared a couple of times. There's a really nice set of videos a gentleman did, Andrew Let's Play. I've been sharing that on the basic game. And I'm separating the different cards right now. Like I said, I'm going to do the advanced game for you. And then I plan on, I still got to do a little bit of work. I'm a clipper, so got a punch set of counters, got an unpunched set. Actually, I have multiple sets of this game. Don't ask why. It's a sickness. Gosh darn it. I guess I don't need to do that. All right. It's separated. So let's show you a couple of things here. So this can be a legitimate first video. First, let me show you what an unpunched set of counters looks like. And I will say this with the 4th edition. What it looks like is mostly rules changes and updates. I went, oh boy, kind of accidentally almost punched it. All right, well, this is my unpunched set. Very nice, in my opinion. Well-centered counters, which for how much we love Avalon Hill, that can be kind of rare. This is the German counter sheet. Like I said, I have a punch set of counters, so I don't need to be punching this one, but I am going to be clipping my counters before I start. Still recovering from my chemo, so we'll see how far I get. But literally, there's all kinds of different units here, different countries, and there are some rules around that. But very colorful game. I'll point out, if you look, let's see here, let's zoom in a little bit. Where is it? Let's see, okay. So let's do an example. So the 1st Infantry Division here, for the Brits, that's the stacking value, and then it's attack, defense, movement. And you'll notice when they take a step loss, the stacking value stays the same and it goes from the left to the right side. So lesson number 1, okay? Units have zones of control and all that we're going to go over, but I want to show you some of the charts. Here, let me show you the rule book that comes with it just a little bit. This is the 4th edition rule book. And one thing I noticed that was a little bit irritating, it looks like it's across the board. In my copy, I'm going to try to find a page. Here's a good example, I think. Let's see if we can make it come out on the camera. So if you notice, the printing's pretty small. That didn't bother me. Got my readers. But it's nice and dark in some spots. And then some spots it really gets, maybe you can't see it that well, but this is a lot lighter than this. So depending on your lighting, it made it a little bit tough to read. I don't highlight a lot, but you did see I highlight. I tend to highlight just important points or the headers. And this will not be my final layout of the game. Then the charts that come in a complete set, you have the organization charts, which is where you place your divisions and whatnot by country. All right, there's the Allies. I'll show you the Germans in just a minute. And then you have the Allied order of battle for the advanced game, which is here. And it starts, and I'll note another rule here, only US and Brits can be used in the invasions. And the red are withdrawals. And you have 3 different games you can play. You can play Southern Italy, which is the basic scenario. And Then you have the Central Italy game, which goes through a different turn. I'll show you on the turn record track. And then Northern Italy. And I will be playing to go as far as I can get. That means I get through the Southern Italy part, great. The middle, I'm not quite sure yet. And of course, if I do the whole campaign, we'll be doing lots of videos on it. Why did my zoom change? Oh, I must have changed it. There we go. All right. Now we're back out. Okay. The Germans. Let me show you the Germans. These are the charts that come in the game. I'm going to show them all to you. Organization chart. And I will say that, after watching the replay of the basic game, has some value. Not quite my style, though. I mean, nothing against it. I just kind of like advanced games and campaigns. So, but the Germans, if I was playing an opponent, would secretly pick the standard order of battle, which would adjust the victory conditions, reinforced order of battle, or the maximum. I'll be playing the standard, period, end of story, because solitaire effort. And I gotta say, I'm really happy I'm getting to this. Now let me show you, and you'll see it plenty in the game probably. Call it the step reduction table, very attritional. Top half of each result is the attacker, and the bottom half is what happens to the defender. And there's fort rules, there's rules for losses are doubled if you're in the mountains, the defender, all kinds of good stuff. You must have combat if you're adjacent. But we'll go over different things like, you see a couple here, different invasion zones. The advanced game opens up, any of them are eligible. I'll go over the victory conditions when I actually start. Then you have the turn record track, which, let's see if we can do this some justice here. Maybe you can see. So, gives you your replacements. It's weekly turns. The allies are pretty straightforward. Tells you how many they get. And you can see they get at least 2 a turn, 3 a turn up here. And then it flips over, because it can be up to 76 turns. Right? But let's focus on this side here. The beginning. The Germans, if they get 1 replacement, it's infantry. If they get 2, they get 1 infantry and 1 armor, and those are actual units. Got a little check mark to tell you to check for reinforcements and what turn. And then withdrawals has check marks on the turn to tell you to check. In the basic game, the weather's fixed. In the advanced game, which is what I'll be playing, is it is not fixed. You have a die range for mud, and I'll go over how that impacts. But so it's variable. And then forts, you get 1 automatically. I know you need to reread this again, but by the way, it calls it X's in the rule book, but it's actually check marks. Forts are pretty cool. They basically allow the German player to ignore retreats. They still have to attack. They don't get doubled or anything. They can ignore retreats. And when they do attack, as long as they don't have any help, the allied units are not doubled in the mountains and whatnot. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works in the game. Now, the part that I haven't quite, that I got to reread, and if you know the answer, let me know. I do know that it gives you a 1 or a 2 here in the advanced game. It's a chance to get some extra forts. And you roll a die. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because there is a limit, I believe, of 13 forts in the game. But during this period, I believe you can get a fort, plus you roll and may get an extra fort. But I keep rereading the rule on that, and I'm not quite clear. Your port markers are how you open the beaches up, and we'll get into that when I get there, and also open ports. And then you have check marks when invasions are allowed for the Allies here. Replacements, let's see. Oh, at the end of each turn, you put how many. So I may photocopy this, I may not, I don't know, we'll see. Because there's enough here for a few games. So, but you put like what's left in Sicily. Now I'll note replacements are actual counters that are used in the game. So I will have some books to show you later. I did want to say this is an excellent issue of the General we got. And you can get them free online, or you can be like me and get the hard copy. Let's see, where's the volume 16, number 1. And the reason I say it's excellent is it has some extra scenarios in there for you. And this article, which I just started to read, is a really interesting strategy and tactics in the new Anzio scenario. But honestly, it's has some pretty interesting stuff for, I think, just good tactical advice. And I also picked up, and I really didn't need to after realizing, but I picked up some older issues of the General, which are fun to read, but because they have some Anzio content in them, but they're really not, after looking at one or two of them, they really may not be applicable to the 4th edition. A lot of them are stuff written by Tom Olson, which, if you know your history, was a big fan of this game, so played it for years. And I gotta say, I think I'm gonna really enjoy the playthrough, but never hurts to have some old Generals, and I know you can get them for free, but hey, I'm an old school gamer, and I like looking at stuff. So, also managed to pick up, for a pretty fair price, a couple of the old campaign magazines. And they all have an article or something regarding an Anzio. That's why I picked them up. Oh, excuse me. That was cancer speaking. It was a lot of fun. Picking up some stuff. I've got a stack of books that I bought on the Italian campaign, because not that I'll ever read them all, but I am reading one or two of them right now, as best I can, amongst during breaks during my chemo. Let me show you one of my geeky, I don't know if I'll use them, but if you watch my other videos, every once in a while I'll show my geeky gaming supplies. Bought some micro dice. I like marking odds with these, right? So they're really tiny dice. Don't use them for die rolls, but I will be using that. I also have this is my Axis Dice Tower from Mark Assetto. I'll be using this. And I have an Allied one across the table, which I'll show you later on. And, but historically accurate. I'm definitely not a freaking Nazi or something, okay? So anyways, first video, spent about 20 minutes here together. I want to show you the map, and I'm going to probably be pretty much following historical patterns. I don't know, we'll see. It is interesting playing solitaire, and as I call it, two-handed, and I never realized till I called it that on Facebook and got a bunch of questions on it. That can be an alien concept to some. So just to be clear, what that means is you play both sides to the best of your ability. What I like to do for these learn to play after action reports is I don't promise ideal play at all. What I do promise is to try to go through all the rules. And I do have the original Avalon Hill die. Look at that. But I do promise, solitaire two-handed. I'm going to probably try to follow historical invade at Salerno, and then a second invasion. I may deviate from that. We'll see. I'm really looking forward to doing this. Have been for a while. I'm hoping, right now I'm on a chemo schedule of every week for 3 weeks, and I get a week off. It's been pretty brutal. Most of you know I'm terminal. But I'll keep doing stuff as long as I can, and I'm going to really enjoy doing this. I'm working on a game space that I'm going to be able to leave set up 2 or 3 games or a big monster, so this won't be my final layout for Anzio at all. I just kind of wanted to show you, and it does cover from basically the toe of Italy over there. The toe's not on the map, and it goes all the way up there to where the final battles happen. So I'm looking forward to doing this for you. I hope you come along for the journey and enjoy it. Hope you comment, hope you like. Probably should say that up front in the videos. But it may take me couple more days just to prep the game and get it out before I do my next video. Pretty tired, just had chemo yesterday and start a series of shots tomorrow. But thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I love doing the videos for you. So this is Mark Ruggiero, Clark Commando 1983. Signing off for now, and I believe it's October 26th, I believe. I know it's Thursday still. So, anyways, thank you a bunch. See you soon.